Hi friends, I'm Ellen Gormley. Welcome back to my channel. So I have a conundrum. Here is a vintage granny square style blanket that was a friend of a friend's of a friend's, and they asked for a repair because of course their late great grandma made this blanket years ago and it's so beloved, but it's got 3 major holes in it. And every project is different in terms of trying to make a repair, but I thought maybe you would like to wing it with me or see how I am going to wing it. So I think looks like I already have, this is the wrong side of the fabric facing, so I'm going to flip it over. I pinned it with locking stitch markers the best I could and washed it through the washing machine and dried it, and now I'm going to attempt to put it together. So let's get some of the dirt out of the way here. Okay, so I don't know how this is going to go. Maybe some of you have a lot more experience at this than I do, but I just pinned some locking stitch markers into some of the stitches where the hole is so that I could, one, keep it from falling apart more while I washed it, and 2, mark the spot where I know I needed to try and repair. So it looks like I have a single crochet or single chain for 5, and then single crochet and then join over here, and looks like that was supposed to be 5. It looks like it broke and maybe somebody knotted it. So I hope this is a relaxing and valuable use of your time. I'm going to unravel this little knot here, and we will see on this adventure how long I get before my space on my data card fills up. So my intention is to get to all 3 holes today and see if I can figure out how to repair this granny square. Maybe some of you have a lot more experience than I do at this. Frankly, when I see a blanket, I don't usually take a commission to repair something like this, but for this set of friends, I decided I would give it a try. So I'm already making a mess here with this little knot, whatever. It must have fallen apart at some point, and the lovely owner of this blanket decided to kind of knot it to try to keep it from falling further apart. But I might have to do a little bit of cauterization. I might have to cut back just a little bit so that I can figure this out. So I went to the craft store and tried to find the exact yarn, and of course Karen Simply Soft was my guess. I think that's what this is. So I picked the 3 colors that I thought were most representative or closest to this yarn. I'm guessing that this yarn is an acrylic yarn, and let's see here if I can unravel just a little bit until I can get, oh, and here comes Theo, until I can get to a point where I can actually put a hook in it and see where we go from there. Okay, looks like this. Oh, okay, this is the other end. So this is the, looks like this person was right-handed and was moving this way, and so that's why when I'm unraveling, the stitches were not going that way. So I'm on the other end of the stitches. So I need to find a way to piece all of this together. It looks like here is the corner of this motif, and here's the chain 3. So it looks like this joining strand was going here around the corner, and this is where the break happened. So if I have a chain joining here, and it joined, and kept going that way, I'm thinking that is what happened. So I'm going to try to repair it. Have you guys ever done this before? Do you do this with your own projects? Do you do this for other people? It's very rare that I, like I said, take the effort to do this, but I thought I would give it a try and thought you guys might enjoy the process on camera. So let's go ahead, and I think I'm going to go ahead and cut out this little spot. So it feels like surgery. I've got my glasses on. Looks like there's a little strand right here that's keeping it from unraveling. Yep, that's okay, perfect. Okay, so trying to match the gauge of what this great-grandma Phillips apparently used. I think I'm going to try an H size hook because I don't know. It's either an H or a G. I don't know. It might be, I don't know. I can't tell. I'll have to just do the best I can here. So these stitches are pretty small. I better go down to a G. And also, like, it's been washed several times over the years, so I'm not sure. It feels like maybe a G is the best hook. So if I'm going back, I think I want to unravel some more and get to a point where I can have enough. Okay, here's a single crochet. This is a good place to start. I am going to go back and finish the single crochet with the new yarn. Okay, so here's my old ripped yarn. This is the yarn that I think is probably the closest match of what I'm going to be able to find, what I was able to find at the store. And you can see Theo is just watching intently, like he's in the observation room of an operating theater. Okay, so I'm going to yarn over with the new yarn. I'm going to leave plenty of tail because I'm going to try to weave that in somehow and pull through that single crochet and finish that single crochet with the new yarn. Now I'm going to go ahead and work over, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm going to just kind of weave the two together here a little bit, the old tail and the new yarn, so that I can make it a little bit more durable. And now, according to the pattern that I've observed, it's time to join on the previous, this motif over here. So I'm going to go ahead and, it looks like, is that a chain stitch or is that a single crochet? It looks like a, let's see, is that a chain here? It looks like it could be just a chain. Let's see how the mechanics of that look. Yep, it looks like just a slip stitch there. Okay, so I'm going to slip stitch into that stitch, and that looks accurate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it looks like there were five chains in between joins. And now, I better, let's see, I need to join, this here needs to join to all of this, I think. So I think I'm just gonna see what I can do there. Let's go ahead and slip stitch into all of this, because I think maybe if I do forensic crochet and figure out, is that how that worked? Maybe. It looks like the chain 3 loop there matches with that chain 3 loop, which matches with this chain 3 loop, which matches with this chain 3 loop. So I think that's about as good as it's going to get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's see, it looks like, let's see, I don't think I need to join anywhere. I don't understand why this is here. Let's go ahead and join to this same stitch and join all of this together and anchor it. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the new yarn here. You probably can't even see what I'm trying to do, but it's, let's see if how that looks. So basically, there was a big hole, and now I have just joined this seam here, joined these motifs, joined in the corner, and then here to there. But that doesn't really look right because I shouldn't have to join in the middle of a double crochet 3 grouping. So I don't know if somebody else like tied it off, or just tied any place where they could in the meantime over the years to try to hold it together. I think what we'll do is go ahead and make this a knot, this old yarn, make this a knot. There really should be no reason to join in the middle of a double crochet 3 group though. So let's go ahead and undo that. I think that was just a stop gap measure to keep it from falling further apart or something, because there's no need to join in the middle of a double crochet 3 group. So I don't know why that is there, unless that was an error in the original stitching, which is fine too, because that happens. Okay, so let's see. So now my double crochet 3 group is back intact and not interrupted. And let's see, that's pretty tight there. There's really no need for a join, right? Nope, 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 nope. There's, oh, there's a knot there. That's interesting. I wonder how long that's going to last. Or if that was broken too. Wow, okay. Okay, so let's see here. One wound at a time, right? Now, I would like to say that I've triaged the worst of the wounds of this blanket and doing the most difficult one first, but the truth is, unfortunately, I am not. The most difficult one is quite large, and that's going to be an adventure, and I don't know if I'm going to get to it in this video or not, but I think, let's see, but that leaves a pretty big size gap here, but I think in terms of the pattern, that is the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to skip those 3 double crochets, skip these 3 double crochets. So, oh, you know what? I bet this is supposed to join to this. Let's try that. So I did not triage it to where I'm not working on the biggest. The biggest rip is about a 10-inch rip. And so let's pull back like 2 or 3. And I need to join not to this space, but maybe to this loop here. And if there's only 5, it's supposed to be spanning 5, and I have 2 or 3 over here, and I have 3 over there. So let's see how this looks. So at this point, I'm just trying to get the feel for the gauge, maybe put together one of the holes. Okay, so I think this hole is fairly patched up, and I am going to have to weave in these ends here. But when I weave in these ends here, at least that hole is sufficient. So now to weave in these ends, what I think I'm going to do is make them more manageable, cut them back down to 3 to 4 inches or so, and then take my yarn needle and start weaving them like I would any other blanket. And I think I'm going to consider this hole here repaired as best I can. So I like to, on granny squares, get down into like where there's several double crochets together. So I'm going to find this corner spot over here and weave in my ends under the legs of the 6 double crochets that make up this corner. So I'm going to go get one there, and then I'm going to backtrack and go under the feet, but skipping one of the stitches so that it catches, and see if I can do the next big hole, but save the grandmama. I was going to say granddad, but you know, it's made by a grandma. So let's see if I can find the biggest hole that needs to be repaired last. But for now, I'm going to try and just fix this one. The yarn doesn't exactly match. It's not going to. It's, you know, this blanket is, I'm guessing this blanket is every bit of 16, 17 years guessing about the, you know, who owns this beloved blankie. And what I know about the family, I think this blanket has to be probably every bit of 15 or 16 years. And so the yarn is just not going to match. Even though I found the only other thing that I could have done was find a spot where I could harvest the yarn from this same blanket and patch it with the same exact yarn, but I'm not so sure I want to harvest it from another spot because I don't want to take apart the blanket, but also there is a big spot where a lot of yarn has come loose, but I want to leave that in case I need to repair it with the yarn over there. Okay, so I think I'm counting this hole repaired. I think that's about as good as it's going to get for this particular one. All right, so let's look at the next one. Theo, you're going to have to get down, buddy, so I can find the next big hole in this so that we can try another spot to repair without getting into the big 16-inch thing. So this looks to be like granny squares all around, like there's like 12-inch granny squares around one really huge, like 36-inch granny square in the middle. Where's the next hole? Oh, there's another little hole over here. I wonder if they wanted this. I'm sure they wanted that one repaired too. Okay, let's put a stitch marker in this, or maybe I should just go ahead and repair it while it's here. I wonder how many holes. I thought there were only 3, but it looks like there might be more. Okay, so here's another hole, and it looks like here it's in the middle of a 3 double crochet group. So this whole double crochet group maybe can come out. So I am going to take it apart and try to put in a new, maybe a whole new group here, instead of just doing one stitch. How would you do it? Would you take out just the one stitch, or would you take out the whole group? The whole double crochet, 3 double crochet grouping here. Okay, so I want to get back to the point where, okay, let's see if I can figure out. It looks like it's 3 double crochets and then it joined with a slip stitch. And these stitches are all kind of frayed and falling apart. So if I pull back to here, I wonder if that will get me a good spot to put my hook in and try and repair from there. Okay. Okay, back. Okay, let's see. Would I undo the stitches? They've kind of, okay. So I've gotten back to, I took out 1 stitch of the group previous. The whole double crochet 3 group that's supposed to be in this space here is now missing, and it then joins over here. So let's see, this is the part that's ripped. So let's see if I can figure out this. So I'm going to undo this just a little bit. Now I guess I could theoretically just tie the new yarn onto it, but I know that there's a couple other major YouTubers, friends of mine even, who don't believe in, or do believe in knots and don't believe in just weaving ends. And it's just really a preference. I just really like to weave in my ends, but gosh, if this blanket is lasting, oh, you know what? Okay, these rounds were turned, and so this is a right side round, but this is a wrong side round. Okay, so I'm going to have to come at it from the other side. Okay, so for me, I'm right-handed, so I need to work this way. So I'm going to flip the whole thing over. Okay, and see if I can figure out. See if I can figure it out. Did that work? Nope, this is wrong side, this is wrong side, that's wrong side, that's wrong side. Huh, I'm confusing myself. Okay, well, we'll just keep working at it. Okay, I guess it's just the stitches are flat because they're old and have been washed so many times, and I just confused the right side for the wrong side. Anyway, I was saying, YouTuber friends of mine don't believe in weaving ends, but do believe in knotting. And I generally don't believe in knotting and do believe in weaving ends. But really, it's just a personal preference, and you do what you got to do. But on the other hand, this is a 15 or 16-year-old blanket, and okay, so it needs to join over here. And, you know, I want it to last. I want it to last as long as possible. And with this slippery Caron Simply Soft yarn, I just don't know if knots are going to hold up or if they're going to be too slippery. I want to pull back just 1 more stitch, so because I found a nice little place to put my hook. So I'm going to go ahead and just crochet a little bit and see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the other 2 double crochets that I already pulled out. And then it looks like there are no chains or anything, but instead it's just slip stitched into the adjacent space. And then I don't think there's any chains. So I'm going to come up here with, and this is where I can do the grouping. So I've yarned over and pulled up a loop. I'm going to finish the double crochet with the new yarn. So let's grab some light blue yarn. You can even see on camera, I think, a little bit how the new yarn is just softer and less slippery and a little bit paler in color. So I'm going to yarn over with the new yarn and pull through and finish this grouping of double crochets, working over both the new yarn and the old yarn, trying to couch it in there. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and join in the adjacent, I'll get you on camera here, in the adjacent spot there on the other motif. And then come back here, and what is still missing? Nothing is missing. The other 3 double crochets right here are all intact. So I am going to join with a slip stitch in what I think is near the top of that last stitch, or the next stitch. Okay, and I think I'm going to go ahead and cut and pull the yarn through and create a little knot there. Yarn over, pull through, and pull tight. So there is a little bit of a knot there. And then I have these ends here to weave in. So I think that repairs that fairly well. So here's the 3 new double crochets, and those are all tails. So I need to weave in all the tails. But if I like pull all the tails to the back side, then I can always weave these in later off camera, but at least you're getting a sense for how I am going about repairing this. So every hole, every blanket, every pattern is different. Luckily, with it being a granny square, like we all know, like this, so here's the repair. Can you see it? Here's the 3 new stitches. Every granny square is very, very similar. So that at least I know the granny square pattern inside and out, backward and forward, and that does help in terms of the repair. So let's see if I can find the next spot that we can work on. So anyway, what I was trying to say is every hole is different, every pattern is different. So like fixing it, there's no magic answer to fixing it. It's just a matter of using your intuition. There's the big daddy, the big grandma hole over there. So I'm not ready to tackle that. Let's see if there's another hole here that I need to do first. Find my stitch markers, see if I can find out. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's one. Oh my gosh, there's holes everywhere. Okay, so here's another hole in a joining of where motifs come together. And so I'd better put a stitch marker on it so I can find it later. And then there was one over here. Okay, let's try this one. So here's another big hole. Okay, so this is the darker blue. I did buy the blue also, buy this blue. This is pretty close to the same color. It's just years apart. Same. It's amazing they must have kept these colors for a very long time. So it looks like someone pulled through and pulled that tight so that it wouldn't unravel anymore. So hey, that knot worked. So maybe those knot fans, the fans of knotting, are correct here. Also, it looks like we're missing a lifeline. So because these stitches are now floating and they should be sitting in this stitch, this is going to take a little bit more thinking. So I think. Okay, and then here's another one that was knotted. Anyway, if you value this content, please give this a thumbs up or a like or something. Okay, so here's 2 or 3 levels of repair that need to be done here. So if we look down to here's round 1, this is round 2. Round 2 is broken. So let me fix round 2 first. So assuming that there is just a chain 1 space in between groups, and then it looks like this yarn actually broke here. So because it broke, I may not have, this is the chain 3. This is the beginning chain 3 of the motif. Okay, and it looks like a teeny little tail here. Whew. she was really economical about her yarn, I think. I think I can just repair this with a join in the top of the beginning chain 3 for this round. So if I do that and pull it off like I'm finishing the round and then tuck that tail in and pretend it's not there, I guess when she finished this round, let's pull this yarn. Try to pull back and just pretend that we are finishing the round. Okay, finishing the round here. So I'm going to crochet a little tightly here to see if I can use just the yarn that's available. Looks like I am not going to be able to do that. I do not have enough yarn. So technically I need to chain 1 and place another double crochet over here so that there's a group of 3. So let's see if I can get a half double crochet in maybe. But then I'm going to not have enough tail to really make a nice pretty knot and a weave in the tail. So I am going to have to patch it with some yarn. So I'm going to back up to this last double crochet. I'm going to yarn over on this last double crochet of the group with the new store-bought yarn that I bought the other day. Okay, so I'm going to finish this grouping with a give myself plenty of tail. I can always cut that off later. Okay, so there's 3 double crochets in that group. I'm going to chain 1. It's time now to work over these tails and double crochet in the next spot. This is 1, tuck those tails to the back at least, and join with a slip stitch in the top of the next stitch. Okay, so we're joining so that now we have 3 and 3. Okay, I'm going to cut this. Okay, there you go. Okay, so now we have 3 double crochets, a chain 1, and 3 double crochets, and lots of tails hanging out there behind, so they'll have to get woven in later. Now, we're missing an entire grouping of double crochet right here where my finger is, and it goes under here. So let's do a lifeline. So I am going to grab a yarn needle and some yarn, and I can pick some waste yarn so that you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to pick some waste yarn, some nice bright yellow yarn. I am going to create a lifeline. So the lifeline needs to go under these stitches so that these stitches have a place to sit when I take out the yarn that's underneath it. So I'm going to slide this yellow in here, and I'm going to go ahead and slide the yellow under the next grouping as well, just in case, because it's a lifeline. It's just to hold these little guys up while I take out the foundation underneath them. Okay, so that's where those are going to go. Then I'm going to look about unraveling this stuff here. I'm not sure what happened here. I don't know if this is a knot, if they tied it in on itself to keep it from falling apart more, or if these are just dangling stitches that got misshapen when the darker blue underneath it got ripped. So if we go back, okay, let's see here. Let's try to pull that. Let's just cut this stuff out. I'm going to cut this stuff out here. And cut here. Let's see what happens. Pull that waste yarn aside. Okay, and I'm going to keep that yellow in there, but I want to see where this is going to unravel. Okay, and this goes to here. Okay, so let's let this dangle a bit. Okay, here we go. All right, so we need to patch this part and give these dangling stitches a place to sit. Okay, so all of these tails can be tucked away. It's this here and this here and this here that's the problem. Okay, I'm going to work this way, but I need to have the yarn coming from over here. So I'm going to take, and I don't, is this the right color blue? It's too dark, and this one is too light. Okay, so this one, I have to make a judgment call. So what do you think? Should I patch it with dark blue or patch it with light blue? I guess I should patch it with the dark because the lighter blue is not even in that area. So I guess the dark is going to have to do. I wonder if they'll even notice. Okay, I'm going to chain, let's see, I'm going to chain a bunch. So I'm going to start a new piece of yarn, and this is going to be the, is that what I'm going to do? No. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to undo this just a little bit. And I want to start working over here. So I'm going to place a locking stitch marker here. This is where I'm going to start working in just a moment. Okay? In the meantime, I'm going to take the working yarn that I'm going to use, and I am going to place it where the lifeline is. I want to put it underneath all of these stitches. You know what? I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to tie it onto the end of the yellow and pull it through. Okay, I'm going to tie it onto the end of the yellow. Tie it onto the end of the yellow. Easier said than done, right? So this is a nice long video. You guys haven't seen me do a video quite this long before, but I know those of you who are interested in granny square repair, you know, okay, so I'm going to pull that yarn through the lifeline. Okay, so that the blue now is attached to a ball of yarn, and it is a lifeline, but it's also going to become my working yarn. So I'm cutting off the yellow. So the yellow is now done. Thank you for coming. It was very helpful. But now I have this working yarn sliding through here. I'm going to put my hook back in this live loop that I had marked with a stitch marker. Okay, and I am going to undo that stitch to the last yarn over, and I'm going to yarn over with the new yarn that is the lifeline that is attached to a ball. Does that make sense? So this yarn here is attached to the ball, my working yarn. So I am going to give myself plenty of tail. I'm going to yarn over with it. I'm going to then work with this working yarn. I'll have to just pull more out through the lifeline area as I go. And I'm going to two more double crochets into this spot because I'm finishing the double crochet grouping here that I had woven or pulled back. And now I will keep adjusting this lifeline. Okay, so I basically want to, the next step would be to chain one, but I'm going to chain like three. 1, 2, 3. And I need to get it through underneath the feet of the next group. So I'm going to see if it'll let if I can get my hook through here too. So these chains need to go under here. So let's see if I can get the chains through there to the other side without undoing the chains. And it doesn't help that the weight of the blanket is falling off the table and causing me gravity. Nope, it's just undoing. Okay, so how do I keep this chain intact and through, I guess I need to pull it through the hook, and the blanket is falling off the table, which is annoying me. Okay, so the only other thing I can think of is to go this way through the legs of the stitch, 2 legs of the double crochet, 2 feet of the double crochet, grab the working loop where my hook was and pull it through those stitches. Did that work? Sorta? Sorta. Okay, that sorta worked. Okay, so now I'll put my hook back on. And here's my working tail. Okay, that did work. All right, so we'll have lots of ends to weave in later, my friends. So now, using this working yarn still, I'm going to give myself some slack and do my 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. 1, 2, the splitty yarn. This has never been my favorite yarn, and even this is even new yarn, and it's pretty splitty. Okay, so I'm going to give myself a big loop, chain 1 and a big loop. Now I'm going to thread my hook where my lifeline is coming from, where my working yarn is coming from. I'm going to thread my hook through where those stitches are. And it's so old and flimsy. I don't know if that's getting it. Now I'm going to take my big old loop where my hook had been and try and pull that loop through where the feet are. And hope that it doesn't split. Sort of split. Pull, 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 pull. Okay, and lifeline and hook back in the spot. Okay, are you following me? Are you following me? But I'm trying to like redo. Okay, and then here, down here is the chain, is the double crochet 3 that I had repaired already. So this should be just a chain 1. And I should be able just to join here and cut, I hope. And I think this spot might be now repaired. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my lifeline, the rest of my lifeline, and pull it through the cut end where my hook had been. And then if I tuck all my ends to the back so that I can weave them in later and you don't get confused by them. Okay, here's the new repair. Okay, so I had 2 levels of repair here. So this section here had to be repaired. This whole section here had to be repaired, and then this section was dangling. So it's not dangling anymore. So now these stitches here are the new stitches, and they're supposed to be in this color, but I don't have this color. So there's the old stitch, the light blue, and then the 2 blue are new stitches, and these are new stitches, and I attached them to the old grouping over here. So now that hole has been repaired. And other than seeing the color is wrong, it looks pretty okay. So I don't know how weaving in all the ends is going to be, but that's going to be a story for tomorrow, and not necessarily with you guys. I'll do that on my own. Okay, I think that is the little holes, and then the big, oh, there's another little hole over here, but maybe I'll do that one later because it's similar to the first one we did. The big doozy of a hole is, I don't know, friends. I don't know about this one. Don't know about this one. Okay, so like I said, there was a huge granny square surrounded by like 12-inch granny squares. Are you seeing the problem here? Are you seeing the problem? Are you seeing the problem here? I can't even fit this whole hole on the camera. So let me back the camera up a little bit so you can see just how gaping this hole is. So this is like a shark took a bite out of this blanket, and I need to finish this motif here and then this, there's a lifeline here that I put in the other day before I washed it to hold underneath all of these blue dangling stitches. So that is what we're going to attempt next. And I think I'm going to do that one on the next video because I'm already 40 minutes in and we haven't even started this sucker yet. All right, thanks. Hi, I'm Ellen Gormley, and thank you so much for spending time with me on my channel. I hope you've had a relaxing and valuable use of your time. So if you liked this video, here's another one that's similar that you might also enjoy. And here is the video, the last video that was uploaded in case you missed it. Everyone, please like and subscribe for more videos. They're usually posted on Wednesday or Thursday at the worst. Thank you. Bye. Say goodbye, Muffin.